Hey everyone, have you ever wondered how those simple little apps on your phone become these massive, powerful global services? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to follow one humble to-do list app on its journey as it grows from a basic school project into a truly intelligent world-class system.
So let's start with the big question. What is the real difference between a project someone builds for a class and a professional app that's ready for the real world? Is it just, a slicker design, a couple of extra bells and whistles, or is it something way, way deeper? Well, it turns out the difference is the journey. It's a story of evolution, and we're going to follow our to-do app through 5 distinct phases of its transformation, taking it from a single computer all the way to the global cloud.
All right, so every great story has a beginning, right? And for our app, it's a pretty humble one. Let's dive into phase one, the foundation.
To really get a sense of the journey, just look at the starting line versus the finish line. On the left, that's our app in phase 1. It's a simple little tool, works for one person on one device. But on the right, that's where we're headed. An intelligent, self-healing system that can work for millions. The real question is, how do we get from here to there? Here's the roadmap for our journey. It all starts with that simple foundation. Then it gets security so it can handle multiple users. After that, it gets a dose of intelligence with a chatbot. Then it gets serious, preparing for huge scale by going cloud native, before finally it reaches its ultimate production-grade form.
You know, the first real test for any application is when it has to deal with more than just one person. And that's where it needs to get smart. It needs to add some brains, and it definitely needs some bouncers at the door.
Phase 2 is all about hiring those bouncers. This means adding secure authentication using something called JW2s or JSON Web Tokens. Just think of them as a digital keycard. The moment you log in, you're handed a unique token that proves who you are, making sure your to-do list stays yours and nobody else can see it.
And this slide? This is perfect. It shows the kind of real-world headaches that pop up. This is from the app's actual debugging guide. The most common logging problem wasn't some super complex bug. Nope, it was just an old digital keycard, that token, getting stuck in the browser. This shows you that as an app gets more features, the little complexities start to add up too.
Okay, so with users safely logged in, the app gets its first real brain upgrade in phase 3, an AI chatbot. So now, instead of clicking a bunch of buttons, you could just type something like, hey, add call the client tomorrow at 2 p.m. to my list. And boom, the app just understood. This was the very first glimpse of the powerful system it was about to become.
Having users and a cool AI feature is great, but what happens when you have thousands of them? What about millions? The app's next big evolutionary leap was all about getting ready for prime time.
This is where our app really starts to prepare for massive scale. In phase 4, it gets packaged up into these things called Docker containers. Think of them like standardized, self-contained boxes that hold the app and everything it needs to run. But if you have hundreds of these boxes, how do you manage them all? Well, that's where Kubernetes comes in. It's the orchestrator, the conductor of the orchestra, telling all the containers when to start, stop, and how to work together. This is the heart of what it means to be cloud native.
And now we've arrived, the final transformation, phase 5. This is where our simple little app stops being just an app and becomes a truly intelligent, self-sufficient system. Honestly, this is where it gets its superpowers. And how do we measure a leap this big? Well, in the project's own documentation, all these advanced features were worth a grand total of 750 bonus points. And that number isn't just for show. It represents a huge investment in real production-grade capabilities that go way beyond a simple to-do list.
So where did all those points come from? They were spread across these 5 key areas you see here. Things like event-driven architecture, powerful cloud blueprints. But we're going to zoom in on the 2 most futuristic of them all, AIOps and reusable intelligence. First up, AIOps. This is honestly one of the coolest concepts in modern software, and this analogy is just perfect. Imagine a team of tiny robot doctors and engineers just for your app. They don't sit around and wait for it to break. No, they are constantly monitoring its health, predicting problems before they happen, and can even automatically heal the system. And that team of robot doctors? It's got specialists. This table shows the 5 specialized AI agents that were built for the system. You've got a monitoring agent that's always on the lookout for trouble, an event scaling agent that automatically adds more power when traffic spikes, and even a blueprint generator that can create an entire deployment plan from scratch. They all work together, running the show automatically.
So, to make all this magic actually happen, the app's core design, its architecture, had to be completely reimagined. So let's pop the hood for a second and take a look at its brand new nervous system. The secret sauce here is something called an event-driven architecture. So instead of different parts of the app calling each other directly, they just send out messages or events to a central message hub called Kafka. And it works just like a nervous system. A new user signs up, a user-registered event fires off, and any other part of the system that needs to know about it can just listen in and react instantly.
And we can see exactly how this works with these different communication channels or topics. There's a dedicated channel for task-related events, another one for user events, and, this is the important one, a channel just for system events. That's how our AIOps agents get their alerts and know when it's time to jump into action.
Okay, the second superpower is something called reusable intelligence. And the Lego brick analogy here is absolutely perfect. Every single thing the app can possibly do, create a task, check the system's health, scale up a service, is packaged as a standard reusable tool, a single Lego brick. The AI can discover this entire toolbox and then figure out how to snap these Legos together to build, well, anything it needs to. So after all that evolution, from a simple little screen to a thinking, self-healing system, what does the final blueprint actually look like? And here it is, the whole shebang. You've got the user interface and the main application logic, sure, but now they're supported by this entire ecosystem. You can see the Kafka event bus we talked about, that's the nervous system. And you can see Kubernetes, the cloud orchestrator, managing everything behind the scenes. Every single piece here plays a critical role in the final intelligent system. Now I know what you might be thinking. Whoa, that looks really complicated. But here's the most important thing to remember. You've seen the journey. You know that each of these pieces wasn't just thrown in randomly. It was added one step at a time to solve a very specific problem as the app grew. The need for users, for intelligence, for scale, and for resilience. And that really brings us to our final thought. We just spent this time breaking down a to-do list app. So just imagine the level of sophisticated, intelligent, self-managing architecture that's humming away behind the scenes of the really complex apps you use every single day. It's so much more than just code. It's a living, evolving system.